Welcome to Joy Asonye Live this beautiful evening. I hope you're keeping safe, and if you must protest, you are ensuring you are not rioters in your protest, and indeed within the ambit of the law. Well, moving on. Again, I thank you for being part of the program this morning, this evening rather, and we would be looking at Ondo State with elections coming on the 16th of November. The days are just inching closer and closer. With me in the studio is a gubernatorial candidate who is also on the race in the ballot rather to clinch the guber ticket to become the governor of Ondo State. But what is his vision for Ondo State? Agricultural plans? What is his tourism development plans? Youth employment, especially because he is also within that range. That's what we will be discussing, and you too can at some point in the conversation get to ask him questions. So stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break and then get into the conversation. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Like I told you, we have a candidate, a gubernatorial candidate right here in the studio, John Otitoloju Akinmurele. I hope I got that better this time. I've been practicing before we came on. He's the YPP Ondo State Guber candidate. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you, Joy, for having me.
Yes, the pleasure is mine. I mean, I'm speaking with a potential, Your Excellency. So yes, the pleasure is indeed mine. But let's just go straight to the conversation. What did you see in Ondo State with the peculiarities? I mean, you had the governor pass on a couple of months back. It's up to a year now. It's not up to a year. Several months ago, and everything that has been happening in Ondo State, it was at some point very, very toxic and tense in the state. But here we are. What gave you that spur to decide to run for the ticket?
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, viewers at home. I'm John Otitoloju Akinmurele, and I'm here to run for the governorship of Ondo State because for too long the people have been neglected, and the state had suffered because of bad governance and poor leadership. And you know, when I look around the state became an eyesore.
In spite of the potentials it has.
In spite of the potentials, great potentials of the state. So this one spurred me and to come and run and do things differently.
What is those things you intend to do differently, and exactly what among the many sectors in the state got you to this sleeplessness that said, you know what, I would put my leg in the race?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, I talk about the decadence in the civil service. Any government agency or official that actually want to perform must know for sure that the civil service is an indispensable, integral part of what delivery is going to have, whether positive or negative. And, you know, going back the history lane, there was a time in the history of the western region, the western states of Nigeria, that the civil service of the western region was adjudged one of the best in Africa. By then, I got from history that other foreign countries came to learn, to copy, and to have inspiration from what the civil service was as a then. That was during the period of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
Right.
So now, as a leader, as a governor of the people, one must understand that there is need to have a reform of the civil service. Yes, we must bring the ownership of the government back to the people. let's reorganize, let's retrain, let's redirect the focus of the civil service so as to enable them to have a complete buy-in, to have complete confidence in what we are coming to do. So I'm coming to reorientate and to revigorate the civil service because it is cardinal to any plans that I have, be it my agricultural revolution plan, be it my educational plan, be it my plan to improve infrastructure, be it my plan to bring about food security.
It lies within the civil service.
So I'm going to make it a point of note and a point of duty to ensure that I bring about the glory of the civil service of the state. So by the time I achieve that and there is confidence back in the people about the government now becomes our government. No more an orphan. Yes, they take ownership, they have commitment into it. Then I will go into agriculture. I want to bring about agricultural revolution in the state through mechanized farming. I want to eradicate hunger in the state through mechanized farming. I want to ensure that each household got food on their tables.
Through mechanized farming.
Through mechanized farming. And as God would have it, the state is much blessed with vast arable land.
So why do you think successive governments have not harnessed these agricultural potentials? Is it the flaws in the civil service once again, or a leadership problem?
Yes, I will start with one leadership problem. In my previous interviews, I talk about a leader being responsible, being responsive, and having sustainable programs. So leadership problem is one of the defects. Commitment is another defect. And I would say the commitment of the civil service too might have been a defect. Why such arrangement, why such lofty ideas have not been harnessed in the state? Because we have everything needed. We have the arable land, we have good weather, we have the state used to be one of the highest cocoa grower in the southwest.
In the southwest, right.
We grow rubber and other economic trees. So I believe the lapses came because of lack of leadership on the part of successive governors. And secondly, maybe inability to actually bring the project to the consciousness and to the ownership of the civil servants.
Well, Ondo also has its own tourism potentials. A lot of experts have always said, why are we not also looking into the tourism potentials in the state? Is it something you believe in, and do you have plans to change that and make it a tourism hub instead of going to get, like our president has been doing, trying to attract investors here? Is it possible that the state can champion this tourism facilities?
Of course, Joy. Of course. But in that way, I my own approach to that is that the government must be able to provide an accommodating atmosphere for private partnership, to bring in experts in such areas so as to develop the tourism potential of the state. We have Idori Hill, we have many other, to mention, sites, historic sites in the state, and go to the waterside areas, go to the hilly area of the state. So there are many tourism potentials waiting to be harnessed. And if government is not ready to go into it, per se, as in going into it in person, in the person of the government, why can't we have productive partnership with people that can bring value? So that it could be a win-win situation, both for government and for the investors. So my way of approach to that is to ensure that I bring about productive public-private partnership to develop tourism in the state.
Okay, you have mentioned, very important why do you think that we listen to politicians just as yourself? When campaigns come, you've been giving us very wonderful, noble ideas, I must say. However, why should the Ondo people trust that this is one person who has the interest of the state at heart? What has your antecedent been over the years?
Thank you so much. Okay, let me start from the recent one. I served 13 years in the SSS. I served meritoriously, and I resigned at my age. Before joining the SSS, I was a student union president at the level of Adekunle Ajayi University, the state-owned university. I was the deputy speaker of the Student Representative Council of Ondo State Polytechnic, now Rufus Giwa Polytechnic Owo. I lived all my life through all the 3 senatorial districts in the state. My primary school was in Okitibukwa. My secondary school was in Ondo town. I went to Polytechnic in Owo. I graduated from Adekunle Ajayi University in Akungba Agoko. So where I'm going is this. Even while I was not union president, the legacy are there. I was the first union president that launched student welfare transport scheme. I left above 10 million in the union purse.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I left. That's as far back as 2005. That could happen when you know what you're doing. So I can say boldly that I have passed, or I've given a pass mark in the test with the test of time. I was one of the pioneer members of the Nigerian Youth Parliament in 2008. So I've done a lot, and I was the youngest member of the Ondo State Palliative Committee to cushion the effect of the regulation of the downstream sector as far back as 2004. I was the youngest member. My memo till today, if you check the archives, was outstanding, what I presented. So I've been tested in many ways, and I can shout it from the rooftop that I'm different, and I'm ready to deliver, to move the state to the next level. And I'm the ideal man for the job.
Now, Ondo State is blessed with several mineral resources. I mean, you have granite, gypsum, kaolin, limestone, or there's almost a bit of everything right there. And I know, you know, the controversy around these resources. Should it get to state? Are we going to harness these minerals and ensure that the dividends get to the people? What are you going to do in referring to these minerals to ensure that exploiting these minerals would not bring about the crime, because it's been synonymous to crime in several other parts of the country? What would you do differently in helping the federal government, of course?
I think one of the best things and one of the best way to start is to have adequate orientation of the locals and letting them know that whatsoever is being extracted or is being explored in that particular area is for the benefit of the area. And that is why I'm an ardent advocate of local government administration. Bringing governance,
a working local government
administration. Because the local government officials, the local authorities are closer to the local people. What is difficult for an Abuja politician to come to get from the locals, definitely the local politicians will get it
seamlessly,
easily,
right?
Seamlessly. And in most cases, the locals understand their own language. When their local chief, when the councillor of the area talks to them, because they see him every day, they speak the same language, then the issue of trust is better than sending somebody from Abuja to come and talk about the natural resources in their backyard. So I think the first thing is to ensure a good understanding with the locals and letting them
using the local government administration.
Yeah, and letting them know that the resources is for their benefit.
Well, there have been a lot of distrust when we hear this. There, in the laws, there are several benefits for host communities. What are you going to say, and how are you going to say it differently so that people will not roll their eyes and say, here we go again, we've heard this before?
Yeah, thank you, Joy. You know, distrust will naturally set in when the government is not living up to his expectation. Distrust will naturally set in when people say that you take their resources away, they are suffering, and they are seeing what is being done with their resources, maybe at a different clime or other parts of the country. So I think the best way to ensure that this issue of distrust is mitigated against is to ensure the entrenchment of this resource control, and let the government live up to expectation. Leaders must live up to expectation. There's need to develop, there's need to care for the hen that lays that golden egg.
So among what category do you think you resonate most with? I mean, you're a politician, you're often very optimistic. However, I'm sure there are your people somewhere. Who would you refer, what category of people would you say in the state have been waiting for somebody like you and has been very receptive to you?
Yes, let me say responsible people in the state, the downtrodden people in the state, young men, old women in the street, market women, those that have been subjected to undue hardship, those that are hungry, those that are working so diligently but they have little to show for it, civil servants that couldn't have their salary as at when due, those that are suffering because of inflation, those that are suffering because of lack of basic social amenities, those people that could not enjoy fundamental human rights, those people that are subject of injustice. Those are the people waiting for me. The youths out there that are not employed, those that are employed that are not gainfully employed, those people that are almost hopeless, those people that are praying daily that there should be good governance in Ondo State, those people that are expectant of a paradigm shift, those people that are tired of the old order, those people that believe that Ondo State is backward, those people that believe that the state can be better than what it is now. And this set of people are the majority. And I believe they are waiting, not only waiting, they are praying for us, they are supporting us, and they are expecting us.
So there are 17 other political parties that are running for these elections. What makes you feel like you stand out and these people that you say are waiting have picked you out of the lot?
Thank you. PDP has governed the state before.
Okay.
APC is still governing as incumbent. Labour Party was once there. And put all of them together, there hasn't been any outstanding time. No outstanding time. As a matter of fact, looking at the development in the state capital, Akure is almost becoming the most backward state in the southwest. Infrastructure-wise, amenity-wise. So the truth of the matter is that we in the YPP, we are the new wine in the new bottle. We are the new wine in the new bottle. We because of our antecedents and because of our our commitment to the people, because of our love to people, which we have communicated in many ways, we are the bride. we are the pride of the state. So among other 17, I can tell you that we stand out. And the people are actually waiting for us to come. I have a deputy governor, a very young, bright man from Akure. I am from Okitipupa local government area. So our combination is balanced. We see our vision is synchronized, and we are focused. And I can't say in recent time whether anybody could talk about the courage we've been mustering to come. We are coming with courage, with determination. And it's seen in our approach, and it's seen in our determination to ensure that the state attain greatness.
Okay, so we are at a very interesting period across the country right now. We have young people all over streets protesting. And what would you say you would do to quell these tensions? There's hunger since the removal of fuel subsidy. There were several promises that was made that hasn't been, that has not seen the daylight for a lot of citizens of Nigeria. Ondo State is not an exception. However, what would you do differently? FAC has increased for state, but it's not trickling down. So what's your plan for that?
Thank you, Joy. I just mentioned here that I was the youngest member of the Ondo State Palliative Committee to cushion the effect of deregulation as far back as 2004. The truth of the matter, which is open to many Nigerians, is the fact that whenever anything touches the price of petroleum products in Nigeria,
there's a
you will see multiplying effect on every other commodities. So I believe that our government, they've not done well in the area of cushioning the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. There should be many ways to cushion the effect.
Which government are you referring to, the federal or the state governments? Because
both,
like I said, FAC indeed increased for states which is supposed to capture the many exigencies of the removal of fuel subsidy, the suffering that it brought.
It's pathetic that most state governors, or some state governors, I don't know, they are so complacent, especially when it comes to handling the welfare of the people. They are complacent maybe because there's a federal somewhere that they can refer to. Because if they are not so complacent, I believe, like what you said, there should be a manifestation on the people based on the increase gotten from the federal allocation account. But particularly in Ondo State, the effect is not felt. So it's like the business as usual. I have from records, the state got almost 11 point something billion naira in the last allocation.
Exactly.
But what is the effect? None. So that is why I said they are complacent, and coming back to the issue of protests, or Nigerians, we are one of the most understanding and considerate citizens in the world. Nigerians, I can tell you, when their leaders talk to them, when our leaders talk to us, we do listen and we do show understanding. But the truth of the matter is that you cannot beat a young child so hard and you're still telling the child not to cry. It is an established fact. It is known, it is felt, it is visible that there is hunger in the land, there is hardship, there is hyperinflation, there is insecurity, there is unemployment, lack of infrastructure, there is frustration in the states, in the country. So the truth of the matter is that even protest, which is seen to be the way of communication between the citizens and the leaders, is a democratic right. Although as a person and as a party, we do not support vandalism, we do not support thuggery, We do not support destruction
the looting
of
that's been going on.
No, no. However, protest is a way of communication between the governed and the government. However, I do tell people from Ondo State, please, let us do ballot revolution come November 16.
Ballot revolution.
Ballot revolution.
The only revolution democracy knows.
Oh my God, ballot revolution. Let's vote away PDP, APC. Let's vote away APC. Let's vote away PDP. Then vote for YPP. Then the whole world will know that, oh, this is actually a ballot revolution.
Ballot revolution.
Ballot revolution.
I love the way you phrase it.
Yes.
But before we go on this short break, I would like to ask, over the years, young people, it might not be a lot, but they've had opportunities in government. Would you say there are mentees or mentors rather that you can point at when speaking to people to say, I'm a young person, this person did it as a young person? I mean, in contemporary democracy of Nigeria, in our contemporary democracy, I mean, are there people who have shown that that leadership quality necessary to drive development? And if so, who should Ondo people look at and say, if this person could do it here, I'm sure this young person, St. John, as you are often called, is going to do it for the Ondo people?
Wow, thank you for that question. You know, the first military governor of Ondo State, Tai Peme, I think he was 33 years when he was a governor. His successor was 32. Although you asked me to talk about contemporary, but fine. The truth of the matter and my perspective on that issue is that you could see the exploit of the youth in almost every facet of the society. Arts and culture, you see them there. Innovations and technology, you see them there. Businesses, you see them there. Tech startups, you see them there. So this age, we are actually doing well in respective areas. And if we are here to pinpoint or point out a spectacular appearance in the political sector, then I promise I will be that spectacular experience.
So
that
you have
pointing to.
You have maneuvered. You've maneuvered your way out of that question. But it's time to go for a very short break. When we return, we'll be talking about INEC's readiness. We saw the flaws that characterized the just concluded general elections last year. How are the youth receiving the candidate? And we would also talk about voter education. Who is championing it? Is there even something? Because at the end of the day, after all the advocacies and jingles just to enlighten people, we still see that a lot of people do not have this voter education that's necessary. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back. I really wish we went behind. We could give you behind-the-scene conversation with John Otitoloju Akinmurele, the YPP Ondo gubernatorial candidate, who's been with me speaking about his vision for Ondo State. Now we're getting deep into the conversation. I hope you haven't missed the first half hour, but we still have so much to discuss. Again, I thank you for staying with us. It means I have not scared you off the studio so far. Thanks for staying with us. But let's get into the many flaws that INEC indeed even admitted during the just concluded elections. Now, do you have confidence in this electoral umpire that indeed we would have a seamless, free, fair, credible elections conducted by INEC?
Yes, thank you, Joy. It's in two ways. I have confidence in INEC. Meanwhile, my take is the INEC chairman should be responsible for any flaw recorded. And I think the era of impunity should be gone in Nigeria. What I'm saying in essence is that when you are anybody in a position of leadership, anybody that is heading agency or heading a team,
Especially one as critical
Yeah,
as INEC.
should be ready to face the consequence of actions or inactions under his leadership. So you see, in the advanced climb, you see, head of Secret Service resigning because of
an incident.
Yeah.
That does not probably necessarily direct him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So as much as I have confidence in the system, my confidence is hinged and should be hinged on the fact that if anything should go wrong, if anything should tamper my confidence, somebody must be responsible for it.
So when you say if anything tampers with it, meaning you know, the phrase that got that trended a couple of months back is they go to court. Is that what you're already hinging on, or subtle hints giving us right there?
Well, in Nigeria, you know, the best way is not to take law into one's hands, and I think the best approach is to express one grievance in the acceptable manner, which is through the law court. So if anything goes wrong, then we should be able to legitimately express our grievance.
I mean, I had asked about your confidence in the Independent National Electoral Commission, but I would now ask the judicial system. We've seen judges have contradictory verdicts here and there. Does it mean now you have this unfettered confidence in the Nigerian judiciary?
Oh, well...
or again, you're still leaving it to their principles, and you're hoping they have principles and ethics that will guide them?
Well, it is quite pathetic and unfortunate, you know, when you read some well, let me use some unfortunate developments from the judiciary. But in democracy, judiciary still remains the last hope of the common man. So we believe that the right thing will be done, and there will be justice in every case. So we believe that the judiciary, as a third arm of government, we protect the democracy.
Well, I join you to hope that this I join you to hope that this indeed comes to pass. But let's talk about voter education and how highly monitory our electioneering, our campaign really are, and how you've been coping. I mean, when I have conversations with young people like you who are vying for public offices, one thing they will always tell you is, I don't get it. I call for town hall meeting to tell you the plans I have for you, and everybody is like, what's in it for me? What are you giving me to go home with? So again, how are you coping with that kind of, is it what you're facing in Ondo first of all?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that the electoral process in Nigeria had been so monetized. And you know, as more,
I think you should say highly monetized.
Highly. And you know, in a situation whereby everything has to do with monetary value, we know that there is problem. So we still have a lot to do. It has been challenging on our part, you know, but we are driving the process through the energy of the youth, and for the fact that our courage is uncommon. So most of the time it fascinates most people, and it endears them to us. And you know, we tell them we may not be money bags, but the assurance is that where money is needed to be spent, where money is needed to be disbursed,
you're there to do that. When would it be? Is it for, because I know that the Nigerian politicians already during elections have bags and bags and bags they want to disperse. Are you one of them politicians? When you say where money is needed, is it for financial inducement that we see during voting?
Not for vote buying. Where I'm driving at is that, you know, running campaigns, mobilizing, and you know, sustaining tempo, publicity in election is actually expensive.
It is.
And those are areas whereby money is needed to be spent. Having live coverage of maybe declaration, maybe, you know, logistics,
and all.
campaign, you know, like that. Those are necessities to be expended on, not about vote buying.
Does it concern you that if you're standing against vote buying, and that has become unfortunately entrenched in our culture, we've seen videos and several instances where now we are tactical with it. As you come to vote, you tactically show who you're voting for, and then as you are passing, there's something in it for you. Unfortunately, we know it's happening. Does it concern you that in spite of the advocacy, in spite of all you've done, people would still fall for getting a fraction of what they deserve?
I think it's a major concern, but I think the way out of it is to keep on advocating, letting people know that it is not always on the good side for one to sell his heritage for a pot of porridge. No matter what you get on that particular day of election, that cannot take you for the next 4 years.
Of course not.
That wouldn't take you for the next 4 years. So what I'm telling them is that if they offer you money, please, you can collect it, but vote for YPP.
Isn't that a crime by itself? Collecting for I remember that came to mind because I remember was it a senatorial candidate in Kaduna or so? I can't remember exactly, who wanted to get some people arrested. He got just about 3 votes. Meanwhile, he had shared a lot of money, and he knows who the people he shared to. So he was mopping out his money back. I mean, you did not vote for me, and all that. So that it doesn't get messy. You can't bring yourself to tell the Nigerian electorate or the Ondo state electorate that refuse the money, stand for what your conscience.
Of course, that is our standpoint. Refuse the money, vote for good program, vote for good manifesto. But if the other party, if the money is so overflowing, and you know politicians... I
wonder what that means.
Yeah.
At what point does it overflow?
Some of them believe that they can buy their way.
Don't they always?
That what money cannot do, more
does
money
not exactly.
So if they insist, my own is to beg the people, appeal to them, please vote for YPP. We may not have money to we are not vote buying is not in our system. We are not doing that. We are the new wine in the new bottle. We cannot go the old ways. We can't do that.
Right.
We are doing is a paradigm shift. We are communicating a shift in our political development. And that is a shift that has to do with bring your manifesto on the table, bring your programs on the table. Let us vote for superior manifesto.
Right.
Let us vote for people that will actually bring development to the state, and not about. We are not interested in vote buying. We are not. We are not. I've been telling our people, we've been educating them, and we are letting them know, like I said, don't sell your birthright for a pot of porridge for just one day.
We've had young people just as yourself stick their head out, and at halfway into it, they're like, this is way more than me. I mean, in your case, you have giants. It seems like the APC, the PDP, even the Obedient, that's the Labour Party rather, are quite popular within the state, or have been over the years now. So how are you going to ensure that you are not coerced? Is that the right word? Coerced into decamping, like we've seen. Oh, I hereby decamp. I collapse my structure for a certain candidate. We've heard it over and over again. And in fact, during these past elections, the general elections, it was very rife. And I'm sure that if you are as formidable as you say, there are some political parties that must be approaching at the moment, knocking to say, join forces with me instead.
Well, by the grace of God, Joy, we will run this election. We will remain until the day of the election, and hope by the grace of God, we are going to win. No matter what the treaties or tricks are, we will not fall for it. We will ensure that we stand tall, we will stand by our conviction, and integrity matters in what we are doing.
Right.
Integrity matters. So I don't see any reason why.
Any reason? Before you, I would like you to emphasize on that.
Yeah.
nothing would make you step down for another person. Nothing. Right.
Nothing.
Okay, so I would like to just ask, who is your father? You know what I mean? Who's your godfather? Who is, because we often also hear that, there's this one person who...
Honestly speaking.
Right.
Honestly speaking, I have God the Father.
Right, the Father of us all.
I don't have a political godfather anywhere.
So when people come to you to say, I want to support you, but I need to know who be your papa, what do you tell them? Because unfortunately, we are still in that political space where people trust certain people, and I don't want to go against this influential political figure in the state. And so if you are against him, I might not be able. So how do you balance that?
I've been telling them that I decided to run, I decided to contest out of inspiration. No any godfather, no any political leader called me anywhere that go and run. So as much as I'm running based on inspiration, and I will stand in front of my God to defend my actions.
Right.
So I told them we are answerable to our conscience.
But are you secretly craving a daddy? You know what I mean?
No.
Right.
No.
I'm sure it must be tough. How are you able to fund your campaigns? You're moving around the media, like you said, everything necessary to run.
Yeah. Well, it has been through the goodwill support of some of our colleagues. You know, the more we stay, the more they see our seriousness, and the more they are getting convinced about it. You know, saying that, okay, you guys, we are still standing. We are watching. You are still standing. So the more they see us standing, the more they
get some sort of confidence, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what would you say the call to action is? What message would you have for young voters in Ondo as they consider their support for you in the upcoming elections?
Like I always say, we are the new wine in the new bottle. This is the paradigm shift. If any one of them had been craving for a government they can't be proud of, we are that answer to that craving. If the elders, if the young ones have ever prayed that God, let us have good governance in this state, we are the answer to that prayer. YPP is a party of the present and the future. So I enjoin all of them to vote for us, work for us, support us in every way possible, and let us enjoy this victory together. And let us turn the tide around in Ondo State for the better.
Okay, as beautiful as that is, I wish I could end there, but I have just one last question. In a sentence, what legacy would you like to leave should you be elected governor of the state?
The legacy will be that in many, many years to come, everybody will have the courage. A son, a daughter of nobody could have the courage to come to political office and work vigorously and win and perform, because I'm going to perform beyond the imagination of our people. I'm going to turn the tide around. So people will now see an offshoot of that paradigm shift. That now the political class is no longer a no-go area.
Well, we've had a wonderful session right here. I've been enlightened, and I must commend you for the passion you seem to have for Ondo people. I wish you all the best as you inch closer to the polls. We've been discussing with St. John. He is John Otitoloju Akinmurele. I got that. He's the YPP gubernatorial candidate Ondo State come November 16th, 2024, and you've heard him tell you the plans he has for the state. Well, this is where we draw the curtains on the program this evening. Do have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and rest assured, we'll be back tomorrow with so much more. Have a blessed day.